Okay. And we'll get started here in a few minutes. Okay. And for the people that have joined me by Zoom, we're waiting a few more minutes and then we will begin. Well, good morning. So want to welcome everyone that is present here and also by way of Zoom. Okay, and so today's presentation is about beginning your genealogy research on a budget. My name is Robert Runderson, but I normally go by Robbie. And so one of the things you have to deal with in trying to do genealogy is the fact that you have so many uh, things in your way. So come on. So one of the things that you need to have is a plan. I know. I'm sorry. I'm time. 10 o'clock is 10 o'clock. People's times is precious. So one of the things that in doing genealogy is start off, you must have a plan. What is it that you're going to do? Are you going to be a professional genealogist or just research your family? Or so this, this is not necessarily for people to be a professional genealogist. This is all about doing your family tree. And one of the things I did was, I didn't have a plan to say, so that, but I had paper and pencil to do it the old fashioned way. And one of the things that I would recommend now is that you have a computer and a smartphone. One, with a smartphone, you can record your elders and get that information down. Two, you can take pictures of documents and other things that you will need in for your research there. And the reason I say a computer, because computers have made a lot of things easy. This presentation wouldn't happen without a computer or so that. And we have it, like going out on Zoom and so. And most important, information and where to get it so that. Now, one of the things that I was able to help kind of get started with my genealogy and stuff there was I knew information there. One Mobile has a excellent place here, and it is called the Mobile Public Library, and specifically local history and genealogy. And that's, to say the least, is one of the things that you have to have. Um, let's see. But before I get to about the public library, what you need to have for yourself there is everything from a family Bible and luckily they can see it. And then I have the family Bible. And one of the things that now this one is not old as it would go. In this case, there it has to deal with uh, my parents when they got married. This was their gift from I don't. Let me see. Let me look. Anyway, I ain't looked that up. But anyway, had the ability to have their names. They put down their father and mothers, and then their grandparents. And one of the things that I have that made my research easier is my last name, Runderson. I have the unique ability to know that if there's a Runderson that shows up from anywhere in the United States, I'm kin, good or bad. I mean, because I've done a Google search and have had relatives show up on court cases, from divorces to murder trial. So so one of those things you have to accept. There is no such thing as a perfect family, and that's the other thing too. If you're going to research your family, you better have a thick skin because again, there's no such thing as a perfect family. What we what we would like in our image may not be who we are, or at least, but we know who we are, and that is the only thing that you can ask to be is that person. So the other thing too is that uh, funeral program, everything from obituaries, old pictures found uh, in the Bible, which in this case is pictures of my dad when he was a wee little baby or little child. So those are some of the things there. But the other thing too is that if you're going to start this journey, you have to be able to talk to the older member of the family, older people in the neighborhood or so. Just like I can't imagine not being able to start this research without at least having somebody that knew the family. And that's why that smartphone shows up there. You can put it on record and you don't have to visually, but you can record what they're saying. And that's what tends to make matters. So that the other thing too that I would say about doing the research and all about the family is that goes back to that there's no such thing as a perfect family. And nowadays, one of the things that has happened with genealogy is that companies have gotten into it, want your DNA and all, and you have to and be careful about that because even though they give you something, they also get something in return because they'll sell not your name but your DNA things to medical and all. And I don't know if anybody has ever heard of Henrietta Lacks, and stuff there, the helix cell. this is one of those things that happens. Now, one of the things, like I say again, my specialty is computers and all. And one of the programs that I would probably recommend if you're trying to do this on a budget or so is called Grants. But Grants is good for computer people, not the average person. It is at best confusing. So that let me get okay. This is Grants. Grants is works with both Windows and Mac. And again, I brought in a family tree from a friend of mine that put in some of the things. But this is the thing that tends to be difficult is that if you look at it visually, it isn't necessarily easy to view or add to or do some other things. But it is that magic word, free. I mean, there's no accounting for that thing, but you have to be able to deal with open source software is not GUI. It does not allow you, just because you see it, doesn't mean that it responds the way that you have to go into doing people and again, this still is not necessary. You can add to, you can do their relationships, families, and you have to go all the way down to charts to actually look at something that people are normally used to seeing. And one of the things that with the advent of computer programs and all is it provides a place for you to store your information and make it orderly. And then you can add media. When I say media, I'm talking about videos, those audio like you have on your phone that you get, or same thing with the visual and audio, and pictures. These are the kind of things that so that now I'll tell you from straight up, I like to have programs that are located on my computer, not on the internet. Because again, if you have audio, video, and stuff there, they take up a lot of space. And internet companies, after a while, they may say free, but they are not going to give you unlimited space that is necessary for you to do your work. You have to be able to control your work, control who sees it. Because again, what is some of the questions that are challenges on for your bank account and stuff, that your mother's maiden name? Guess what? Genealogy gives someone unlimited access to be able to break questions and all. So you have to be careful about putting these things out and all. It's like anything else. You save, and put up the stop sign, go, no, no, no. You're not getting none of this. This is only shared with your family members and stuff, and you tell them ahead of time because you'll get why you need that. You ain't, you trying to run a scam, you trying to get extra? No, I'm trying to find out about the family and put it out. So the other program that's good is Legacy. And I see some people shaking their head there. They may use, but Legacy has one kind of downside is that it only works on Windows machines. You cannot do it on Macs and stuff that. Also, it has a limitation. It is a free software, but then if you want to access certain things in it, you gotta pay. But it's not expensive. It's only in the range of $40 to get it, or so that. And so this is legacy. Legacy is kind of easy. It gives you that visual thing that you can do. And now this one is their sample thing. But if you go up here and go to chronological, it's going to say you got to pay for it. So this is the thing that you have to deal with or know. So again, we trying to keep it on a budget and a shoestring and stuff that this is one of the areas that you have to realize. My favorite, which is Family Tree Maker. Family Tree Maker, again, because actually it began as a little simple program back in 1989, and it was run on one single three and a, three and a half inch floppy. I where I used to teach classes at an alternative school, I used it to show students how to not do genealogy or so, but just how to run a simple program and gave them information and stuff that. And again, I got pushback just like, why you got to know what my family doing and stuff that. I said, stop, hold it. I did not ask for your family information. I told the kids that if they didn't want to do this, go to the telephone book, grab some names, and all. It was about how to use the program, nothing else. I don't want your information. I really don't care about y'all unless I'm doing your grades. But and I could get away with it because I was at an alternate school. Because if they didn't do, they can go. They ain't got to be in my class. Don't have ain't nothing else there. But they had to be at school, so they can something. All I'm trying to do was teach them how to use the computer. But this was one of the programs that I truly enjoyed. And I'll tell you some of the reasons that I like it is that I don't know which came first, this program or Ancestry.com. But at one time they were co together and stuff there. And then eventually Ancestry sold them off, and the company that had developed the Mac portion of it bought the whole company, and that's what's available now. And it's not cheap, it's $80. But it allows for you to have access to another internet site is Family Search. Family Search is probably the best internet site that's free. Now, the caveat with that is that it is Family Search is a part of the Latter-day Saints. It's a Mormon thing there. And back in the day, the only way you used to get information, you would have to go to Latter-day Saints on, if you're not a member, you would have to go on a Saturday before service and show some credentials and be able to access, because there was a closed network. Now, Family Search is available to anybody on the internet. It has information about databases, the census, and all. Now, one thing I did not talk about, and this comes back to one of the things that is very important. If you're going to do this, please come to the Mobile Public Library, because one of the things, especially if you're young, you have to be able to understand script writing. Because one of the things that the computer program does it tries to translate script into regular things, and it will mess up. So just because you see things on the internet from Family Search, from Ancestry.com, it's all about they have translated correctly or incorrectly information that was written in the census report. Because you have to understand the census was done every 10 years. Who did them? There were people that were hired that used quill pens and all, and they didn't write this stuff down as people were giving it. They took it from their memory when they went back to where they were staying and writing it down in these books. This is why people have so many different names, because just because the census wrote it down as this is the name, that is not necessarily what your name is, but some people picked it up from official documents, and now you have these different names and stuff that I can tell you from my own family. One of the people in my ancestry from off of my dad, my mom's side, is comes from Lauren Dean. But as it came down through history and stuff there, now it is Lauren Dean. And for people that's here in Mobile, there's Lauren Dean Road, which is a part of the family and goes down that area and Bellingrath Garden and all. This is all relative. The Beausarges, the even Bellingrath or so that was a part of the family. And then an offshoot from the family too was Miss Butler, who did a research on the ancestry. It's available at out at South at the McCall Library at the archives. You can see that. You can go online and request a copy of it because it is available at different other universities. So that through what's called the interlibrary loan thing. And I don't mean to go off on the shoes and stuff there, but this is my area. This is who, these are the people I know. I work with the people at McCall. I work with cataloging. I work with interlibrary loan. So one of the things that made genealogy easy for me was because I had access to this. And one other caveat, even though I'm consider myself Black, African American and stuff that in doing research on my family, my people were never enslaved. I have records. I can go back and look, whether it's deeds or land or so that. And the other thing that I did not put up about that Marsh Library has, genealogy has that is the city directory. You can get a wealth of information by going through the city directory if you know where your people live, what streets and stuff that you'll find different, because the city directory came out every year, but not the census. So you can see where people move or so by, it's tedious, it's time consuming, but, and as far as I know, there's no easy way other than actually physically going and looking at the city directories. Well, I have Elizabeth here, who's the back of the room there, which is the head of the genealogy and history thing there. So that, and at the end of the thing, I'll answer some questions, and she can too, especially when it's dealing with the library. Okay. I was talking about family search. One of the things that you can do on family search is it's free, it's online, and I don't know how secure, but it does tie in to most computer programs and all. along with Ancestry.com. But you have that ability to do something again with that magic word, free. You can do you can do what you need to do on the free part. And then the behemoth, Ancestry.com, not free, except you can normally get 2 weeks free trial. And guess what? Our friend Elizabeth back there has unfettered internet to Ancestry.com at genealogy and history and stuff there. And one of the things that happened during the pandemic was that Ancestry allowed for the genealogy and history society to be able to make that available at home. That's no longer so as of February of this year, but you could have extended your research at home through them. But with a simple drive down to the history thing, you can get that information. But you can get what has always been, which is better. Or in this case, ask Elizabeth. Guess what? Ask Elizabeth. Because she's better than anything Google can come up with and stuff like that, because she has the information verified and is not political or anything else. That is what information needs to be. Straight up, good, and available to all who wants it. Am I preaching too much? Okay, I'll stop. Now, what I have is what's called additional research sites and stuff that garnish you a lot of things. For the people here, this is also available on my little slide thing presentation there, but also from what I want to say, a true genealogist that Chris that works with his. No, I ain't gonna even try that. It's too long. But it's the historical Creole society. They're available here, and they have a pamphlet that they put out that's made available with information on there, and there's one that I did not put up here. Actually, I found Friday, and I said, nah, I'm not changing my PowerPoint. I'm not redoing all this printing and stuff there and all. But if you go to Family Tree Magazine, there is a place on there that says, ooh, free resources. I love that word free. I mean, it excites people, it makes them want, hey, they showed up for this. But that is the whole thing about it. The thing is having the resources and all that you would want or need. And it's kind of like thank you and stuff because I'm not going to kill everybody's time there. And I mean, 30 minutes is 20 minutes too long, because if the rabbi or the preacher or so that goes past 10 minutes, it's like, yeah, it's not, I have information that you may want and stuff there. For the people that came here, please put your name and email, and I will send you all of my information or so that for the people that on Zoom, I kind of got it. I know who's on there, so I will send them that information so that. Any questions? Storing information, yes. Storing information is just like anything you do electronically, stuff that do not do it unless you want to take on Jesus. Save, save. But more importantly, don't save it in one place. And I have my information on two external hard drives, two different places, and it's, it's sort of like when I did my final paper for my master's. I had it at 5 places, four at home and one in North Carolina in case a storm came along, I could get it and stuff there. And even then, when I went to turn it in at 2 in the morning, I had to do 5 copies of it, and my printer ran out of toner, so I had to run out to Office Depot, buy a toner cartridge, and I was about a half hour late getting it turned in. But Lordy, they let me get by that. So I was like happy. Anyway, but now in all seriousness is that you can utilize family search, and then there are some other areas where you can store stuff there, Dropbox and all. But one of the other things too, because I know from utilizing Family Tree that they have gone through 10 owners. I saved what they have in what's called a standard Genicom, and I save all of my. You have to go with the ever standard because you never know if a company stops and you lose. You don't necessarily lose the information, but you lose the ability and access to get to that information. Just like some of the programs that I used to use, they they're still around, but eventually they may die off. That I use Word Perfect rather than Word. I use there used to be a program called Q&A that I used, which was similar in nature to was Access database now, but it was made easy. It was easy to use because it used what I call English terminology. It was you could say create a database to do this, and it would ask you what is this. So Access, not so much. You gotta take classes from LinkedIn or something else. So, anyone else? But one of the things, and I'll show you on my, because see, now this is my family tree and stuff that where I'm able to have my name, have my parents, put pictures up and keep and to go. I can and keep, certain, just like in this case there, I have Mary Raintree. Now, when I started out, it used to be just Mary, and but through search and stuff, that found out there was a Rain. Her last name was Raintree from Virginia, and there is actually a site on the internet called the Raintree, which I can do further research and have pictures of Mary and her sisters and family and all. But the other thing too is if you notice they like these little boxes and stuff that these are hints or tie-ins with Family Search. Now, this program works with family, you can't see it over there, but there's Family Search and an Ancestry. The only thing about Ancestry, it doesn't give you hints unless you upload your tree and stuff there and all. And one of the things you that you only have 2 weeks of free. So really, what you have to do is do the study by getting all the information together, and in that 2 weeks, hit it and search everything else there, and beware not to go down rabbit holes there because you will go. You think you have something or so that, and you can go down a rabbit hole. Always trust your information, not what Ancestry gives you, not what Family Search. Make sure there's at least 3 points of something that's very similar. Now, once you made that, then it's easy to go ahead and accept it, but always remember, it's still questionable and stuff there. And the nice thing about it is that for the non-genealogist, Family Search gives you what they call to verify the information where you can look things up. And so again, that's the thing that you have to do. And if you're not interested in doing this work, please first start with Elizabeth. Then you can venture out to Christopher, who is on the board at the society, and he is a professional genealogist. He will do the legwork, he'll do the searching and stuff there and all. But if you're willing to put in your time and stuff there, you can do these things and find it. Because again, I can not tell you how important it is to see Elizabeth down at the historical, because most of my information over here from the learnings came from where somebody did the turn in papers at the historical genealogy society itself there, and they wrote a paper. And so I was able to get information from the paper they wrote and then bring it forward and fill in some pieces and know that because Gregory was Mary Greg was the kind of the Creole that added a little white to my family and stuff there. So it takes it back to Pierre Laurendini and stuff. But so it keeps and it goes. So yes. So I know that Family Maker is your favorite. Yes. Yes. The one, because again, you don't want to just be limited by one program. Family Tree Maker, and this is one of the things that I can, if I do, come on. Anyway, so this is kind of one of the things that kind of differentiates some things, and so that is that Family Tree Maker and Ancestry does do it there, but they'll charge you. And I have the ability to have different trees. I also have different reports. And one of the things that you have to do, especially on the reports, is that for whatever reason, these programs are good Christian programs. So if you have a child, you're married, which is not always the case. Very few. And it will also prompt you when you have incestuous relations. It'll ask you, do you know this is your first cousin or your brother or sister, and stuff there. And so like when did the King of England and France and stuff there, that came up a lot. Uh, so they intermarried, and so well, there are certain parameters. If the mother of the child is younger than 13, it will say, do you know that the mother is only 13? Or so. Also, and on the other end of that spectrum, I hadn't fully gone that way, but I know if it's 75 there, do you know that the mother is 75? And stuff that they have no knowledge of what the Bible told us that Abraham and Martha did. But that's the other thing too. But as the program has evolved and stuff, that they have made it the ability, and this is why. Let me see if I can get it to come up. Yeah. Not the way I want to. Oh, sorry. There we go. Within here that you go in and you add media, you also can change that personal information, whether it was married, or just a companion, a friend, or like in France and England, the mistress or concubine. So you can, you have that ability to add and do some of the things so that and these are the things that Family Search adds to it, the tags that gives the ability for true genealogy to use the LD, the LDs and stuff which really comes down to latter day, as the thing. Yes. Like I say, depending on the program, you have the ability to go into it and like on this program, Family Tree Maker, you can say code it and colorize it so that and there is the ability to put like little bookmark things there that you have questionable about and come back to. Legacy is the same way, it's about color coding that you can set up to say that I want the main people, all of their entries to be in blue, questionable, purple, or maybe even a light green, something that is noticeable when you are actually visually looking at these things and stuff that. But the one thing about it is that these programs allow you to take a wealth of information and keep control of it. So and the other thing too is that trying to get information from other people so that you can and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but like when I'm doing a family reunion, I will print out the report and then go in and change something and make it wrong so that I can get back and say, oh, no, 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 this is wrong. Now, so and so, this from the same person. Why you need to know? But if it's in black and white in front of the face there, and you purposely make error, you'd be surprised how much information you can get because people going, no, you ain't gonna do my family like that. Here's the real thing. So their pride to get information. Yes, sir. Uh-huh. Well, the thing about it is like there's two things going on. If you from down the bay there, the archives at South there is in the midst. Matter of fact, next Saturday they are having pictures down at the community center, showing pictures for you to come in, take a look, identify and all. But the other thing too is that South is not truly not on the beaten path. You can get out there through mass transit and it all. And the archive is open from to 8 to 12, and then 1 to 5. And they will be happy just like I'll pick on Elizabeth again back there. Elizabeth has some of the same things that the Polk family, the Polk Street directories and all for many years that if you know what street your family was on, you can get the name and stuff. And even though it changed from just like from Davis Avenue to Martin Luther King, and you still have the main street, even though they cut around from Texas Street to Elmira to, they're all there and all, so you can kind of find it. Yes, anyone? All right, well, we have, my presentation is printed out in the back. There's a booklet from Chris that the society has, and then I printed out that section from Family Tree magazine that called Free and Clear. So we have resources for you, and for the people that's online, I would be happy to send you the things there. You know, easy to get in touch with me, runderson@gmail.com. Okay, Tracy, now you can. And let's see, where is this? Huh? I'm trying to.
When you finish that, and I just want to tell everybody thank you for coming. I had intended to introduce him, and he was very early on. So thank you for being
Yeah. Yeah.
around here. But again, thank you everyone for coming, and thank you especially.
Okay. And the other thing too is that here we have on the 26th, there is the Lalane Family Micro Reunion that we have online. You can check with the society or through Facebook and register for that. And then next, besides the thing at Down the Bay at Michael Seals, there's also going to be a talk here by Chelsea Cook.